There we go. Howdy, everybody. Howdy, howdy. Okay, so it is Sunday, September 6th, the day before Labor Day for 2020. Welcome to the Ration Museum weekly bulletin, and I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I see Gail and Jeremiah are already here. Welcome. Um, Gail, I've got your package in the mail call right here. I had some forethought and actually cut everybody's addresses off before we do mail call. I had already opened yours. I haven't opened the one from Kaylin yet, but I had already opened yours earlier in the week. But I'm still going to show everybody what you sent because it's in great shape and it's going to add to the collection and really appreciate it. So we're doing a little mail call first. I've also got a package that I ordered myself that part of it I'm going to give to the museum and part of it I'm going to eat because I'm trying to ease back into ration eating now that I've gotten through the hard part of my diet and everything, and I can eat some real food again. So and rations are great for that because you know exactly how many calories everything is, and you can really count on very specific numbers. So yeah, some of these rations, if I eat half of them in a day, or if I, eat just one meal across the whole day, it's fine for me. I'm not a soldier in heavy work conditions, so I certainly don't need to burn 3 or 4 thousand calories a day. I'm a civilian in a basement, handling whatever, and my day job is similarly sedentary, so I don't need 4,000 calories a day. But you're at a cookout, Jeremiah? Well, enjoy. Um, that was the last couple of days for me. I was at my grandparents'. My mother was there too, and one of my aunts came. And outdoors activity is about as safe as we can get right now for a massive gathering of 4 or 5 people. Ooh, But yeah, we cooked some burgers. We had a campfire, and I set up a tent and slept outside. While I was there. So that was nice, and I'm thinking about doing the same thing tonight somewhere. But so yeah, it's that kind of weekend, right? I have something. Oh wow, that's good. That's good on you. I'm sure folks can still use them. There's still a lot of folks out there that don't want to wear them, and it's a kind. Yeah, I'll try and stay out of it. Other than I think it's pretty courteous to wear them around anybody that is in any way potentially at risk, or if you have contact with folks and you don't know if you've picked it up, because you got weeks and weeks where you don't know that you have something and you could be contagious. So for right now, I'm you know I'm in camp, wear a mask around other folks, and Nick and I you'll see around each other, but we work together all day in our day job, and pretty much one of the only 3 or 4 folks I've spent any time around in the last 6 months. Jeez, it really, because he lived a couple blocks from me, but for the first several months didn't even see somebody like him. Didn't see anybody. I'm sure everybody's sick of talking about all this life change stuff. Let's talk about rations. So yeah, I mean, thankfully my day job, last thing I'll say about these masks and stuff, thankfully my day job, I'm alone in an office in the back of a brick building in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean in the building with nobody coming by that isn't one of the 2 people I already see. So, but yeah, anywhere where you're exposed to new people or commercial products or anything like that, you absolutely have to. I mean, hey, Aletha, welcome. You doing any home improvements this weekend, or are you taking the holiday weekend to relax? I'm hoping you're taking some time to enjoy the holiday. The appreciation of the workforce in America, putting some stuff away. Gotcha. I've got something neat that popped up. Let me grab. I only ever found one of these. Over all the years. Let me switch views. So Uh-oh. Well, it just crashed. Sometimes that happens early on. Let me get it back. So, this is just this little free program called IP Webcam that you can run on old phones. And this was one of those like $20 phones. Let's see. See if I can wake it up. Oh, there we go. So this is like a little $20 or $40 Boost mobile phone that a friend got and outgrew the need for or whatever. And it can't do much else, but it runs live video in real time. Just well, let's see, so you can see both. That's my test. If I can see my hands moving at about the same speed on both, then I know it works pretty well. But this thing's been pretty reliable. I didn't get a chance to double check it when I booted it today, so sorry about that. All right, so hey Fordman, welcome. So this is Bun's Hamburger Shelf Stable. This is just a big old pouch of 6 top and bottom hamburger buns that go with like UGR kind of servings. I think this actually might be with a UGR A. I'm not 100% certain. I haven't gotten to track down too much about this. It is made by Sterling, so I'll just I'll hover around each section for a little bit, so somebody that wants to really dig in on the info can pause later and come back to it. Let's see. Try and get that reflection out of there. There we go. A lot of preservatives and stuff. So they're not pre-cut. They're just as a roll, really, just with the bun. You can put the whole pouch in boiling water, or put it into the steamer setups for the UGR trays. Do not overheat. Yeah, I'd assume they'd get dried out. So, nutrition info on these. There's 7 grams of fat in every bun. That's quite a lot for bread. And 5 grams of protein per bun. Also, quite a bit for bread. So I'm wondering, between everything they've got in them, enriched bleach flour, soybean oil. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like quite a bit, but it's not like whole wheat bun or anything, but enriched. Maybe that's it. If I ever had another pouch of these, I'd open them up. But for right now, they're still sealed. There might be, reason to open them up someday. But just one of those weird things. And it's in this, if you maybe can tell, it's a very stiff, metallized pouch that's around these. It's not like really flexible. I mean, like, it's not paper thin or like basic plastic. It's very, very stiff. So it's a heavy metal layer in these. And these were produced, let's see, so we got the normal date stamping here. Let's see if you can see 1057. So we're looking right here. You can almost, let me see if I can get a better angle there. Yeah, much better. So you can make that out. So these are probably 2011, 57th day of 2011 that these were produced. And that just reminded me, turn on the extra light. There we go. Yeah, that's better. One of these days we'll get something showing on the TV back there. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't really matter so much. Oh, you losing track of the weekend already? Yeah, it's oh, and I forgot to mention. Let me switch back. So I'm wearing this cap today. I found it in the in one of the boxes of stuff we were going through because it had been boxed up since the Doswell trip. But got this from K-Man, and or I mean, sorry, Ken, not well. Sorry, now I'm forgetting. But yeah, it's mreinfo.com. Don't if you haven't been somehow, definitely go check it out. But I wonder, do they still make the hats? I don't want to tell folks to go get them if they can't, if they're not available. But I always love mine, and I got a cup holder too. I feel like it's sitting crooked for some reason, but I think that's just my head. No, it is crooked, I swear. All right, that looks about right. So, we'll do mail call, and then I think we're gonna maybe just walk through some of the Saturday Evening Post ads that I have. I'm not sure if we've done that on stream. I might have like rushed through them once, but I think I'm going to go through all of them. There's about 50 or 60 of them. So it's like the full page, like you don't have orange juice because it's flying over Nazi rooftops kind of stuff. And just the packaging companies, the paper companies, the metal companies, everything that had anything to do with ration packaging. Let me turn this down. It looks like I'm blowing out the sound a little bit. Probably getting a little scratchy. Does it sound any better? You might need to turn it back up a little, but just trying not to ignore the sound levels. I rewatched some of the stuff from last week and the week before, and it's a little scratchy and blown out at times. So sorry about that. So that being said, let's switch back over to the big cam here, and let's do some mail call. So, first package, gonna open up. This one is from, well, is she here yet? I might actually wait till Kaylin's here, because I'm sure she's gonna want to take a gander. But, so we'll switch over to Gail's package. We'll save this for last. So, this is from Gail. Let me get closer here. So, for some context, during World War II in the U.S., rationing meant more. The idea of rations was more than just food. And overall, rationing and rations go together in the sense that it's an allotment. The idea is an allotment of something. And in World War II, for the civilians in the U.S., there was an allotment of general purchasing ability. You had your restrictions on how much food you were allowed to buy, how much gasoline you were allowed to buy, how much rubber, how much nylon, how much metal, how much whatever. Everybody had their limits on what they could or couldn't have, and the idea was, the war effort needed those products. And oh, thanks, Aletha. Glad to hear that sounds coming through pretty good. So we needed those. The U.S. needed that stuff for the war effort, and it was all in limited supply, or there was just so much necessary to produce tanks, to produce planes, to produce ammunition, to produce rations that went overseas, etc. That it had to go beyond just asking everybody to tighten their belts. The rationing board was formed, and in the U.S., things like these were part of the everyday way of life. You'd go to a store, and it would say, what everything cost in terms of ration coupons. And in addition to, you pay for it. You're going to the grocery store and you're getting 2 pounds of beef. Well, you better make sure that you've got enough ration coupons for 2 pounds of beef. And that's where this sort of stuff comes into play. Let me grab a pair of gloves. I'll be right back. just, just washed my hands a moment ago, but the fewer times you can interact with these, with bare hands, the better. They'll last a lot longer. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch over. So, this is neat that there's the outer book on this. Let's see. So, mileage rations. These are the tear-off receipts at the bottom of your mileage ration, where you were tracking tracking how much gasoline you were allowed to purchase. So these look to be the torn off stubs from those, and you might have had to put these in your car or have these on you or something to that effect. I know you would have to put. We have in the collection somewhere the sticker in your window that would say which type you were. So, for instance, these are A, B. Your sticker would say something like A or B, and then there would be A or B gas days. And when you'd go to the pump, you couldn't show up with a car that was stickered for another day. It wasn't your turn. And that's kind of how they made it work. They knew they had so much less to hand out, that they had to ask everybody to take turns and to have limits on what they could acquire. So here's neat the actual stamps. And I'm assuming, you'd go into the store and it would say how many of what type of point everything was. And I've got some pictures somewhere of ration displays and or ration point displays and stuff in stores that'll be neat to continue to try and find more of. So we have book 4, we have book 3. Oh wow, Gail, I hope you're still around in the chat. These are great, and they really cover the whole the whole period where these were getting issued. That's what you would see. Is generally they're empty. So book 4 was towards the end, but all these great pictures of, all these great, stamps. These had little pictures of, I believe that's like aircraft carrier, it looks like. Let me see if I can get a little steadier. Yeah. No, a little too close, it won't focus. And then looks like a Sherman there. Book 1. Here's some mileage coupons, where there's still some coupons left. So that looks to be similar to these, maybe a different earlier version or later version, where you'd separate that part as your receipt. Let's see. Let's look at the instructions. Coupons can be used only in connection with the vehicle described on the front cover. Detached coupons are void. If you stop using your car, this book and all unused coupons must be surrendered to your board within 5 days. If you sell your car, this book and all unused coupons must be surrendered to your board. The purchaser will not be issued a gasoline ration unless he presents the receipt which you receive at the time of such surrender. So that means, yeah. So if you were selling your car and you had you'd go to your ration board when you had a car and you wanted, your mileage ration, you'd go to your ration board, you'd fill it out, you'd give them the information about your car, they'd give you your ration, and then if you sold your car, they didn't want somebody sitting around with a bunch of ration points, so they wouldn't let the new person get a book unless they turned in a receipt or a new set of ration stamps for that car, unless they got the receipt that the other person had gotten from turning into the board their previous booklet. So that's pretty strict, you know. Let's see. Just interesting stuff. This is coupons for canning, sugar-based canning. I mean, all kinds of stuff requires a lot of sugar for canning, preserves and spreads and jellies and all kinds of stuff, apple butter and homemade jams and preserves. Just little warnings throughout everything. Do not apply for more sugar than you actually need for home canning. Big bold letters at the end. Just reminders that we must all get along with less sugar this year, because this sort of stuff, it's just amazing. That as a nation, so many people just tightened their belts and said, it has to be done. It has to be done for the sake of all our men and women overseas, and that are out trying to save the world, in World War II. But so it was a massive effort to turn so many domestic manufacturing facilities into war effort facilities, and it couldn't happen overnight without the support of the American people just deciding, just saying, hey, we're on board. So I know tomorrow's not Memorial Day, but there's never really a bad time to remember the sacrifices of those in the service. And 1 second, I'll be right back. Looks like I might need to look in on a work thing for just a second. I was wrong. Everything's good. Sorry, Nick just got back, and he had thought for a second that we maybe had something going on at work, and he checked in, but everything's good. So, let's see. So I'm gonna put all these back, and this is just the first. This is just the first pouch here. Let's see. We've got what looks to be another book 3 with. Let's see, we've got a sheet with a different stamp on there. What's that, a Mustang? Mustang or a Spitfire or something, maybe. I think a Mustang. Oh, piqued Nick's interest. Let's see. And then we got anti-aircraft. Let's see. I was looking at this one. What do you think?
I actually think that's a P40, not a Mustang.
All right. Not my area of specialty. What does everybody think? Maybe a P40? This one was issued to a child, Roberta Ann Berry.
What's the year?
Now, do you know how that would work? Was it that she went to the store for her family, or she was the one that went to the ration board, or could you get them for more than one member of the same family? Yeah, everything, and I just saw your comment about the storage, Gail. Everything here this is great. They're not brittle. We'll make sure they stay in great shape. So, and thanks for putting a little layer around everything. It's with the paper. It's these are in great shape, and there's so many different. Like I have a lot of the different book 1, book 2, book 3 kind of books, but all these ancillary pieces and coupons and records. Those I don't generally run across, and I don't think I have a lot of these in terms of examples. And overall, we want to be able to cover physical examples of things because then we can make displays out of them and maybe even traveling collections and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be able to make very high resolution, high quality scans of a lot of this stuff that maybe there aren't anywhere near as good copies out there for people that need to do research on them. Would have been 5 or 6. Yeah, I wonder how that all had to work. So this is that same 1934 Plymouth that we've been seeing. This is another rationing record.
Fuel ration?
Yep.
Oh.
So we back in here, I looked at some of these, but this is
pretty cool.
The OPA. I have a bunch of OPA tokens. Office of Price Administration or something like that, I think was the OPA.
Not petroleum?
Well, let me see if I can do a quick search. The OPA, the Office of Price Administration. Yep, okay. So, it would probably be a function of FEMA or something to that effect today, maybe. I'm not sure who necessarily would be, the department that would run something like that. Oh yeah, right there we've got their official stamp. Well, focus, the Office of Price Administration. Yeah, so I think it would work to the effect of, if you can use coupon, Z 18 through 12 on Saturday, Saturday the 16th through Thursday the such and such, you would have designated dates and times where every part of these books would be, the only time when they'd be valid. So that way they could make sure, they could furnish enough goods to cover the use of the coupons and know that they weren't going to be over or under, in any particular area. This is a really nice book 1 there. Book 1 warning. Well, no, it's the whole book 1, but
warning: do not eat.
Seems like the book 1 probably had maybe less, overall in it. Probably wasn't intended to continue on for as long as it ended up continuing. You know, I think we can all identify to some degree with that. So Gail, thank you again. You know, this is fantastic, and we'll take really good care of these and make sure that we get some added historic value out of them. And then when we're building out the rationing display, war rationing effort display, that a number of pieces in here make it into that. So thank you again. Kaylin, are you here? If so, say howdy. I'll refresh the chat. I don't have a overall list of viewers, at least not in Streamlabs. And I know this is all still pretty basic, but eventually I'll get a little more advanced with the stream itself. We'll get the ability to do clips and do more active stuff, tie into computers and microscopes and all kinds of neat stuff is in the works over time. But I'm gonna keep on going. I'll save hers for a little bit, if she hasn't chimed in just yet. So this, if you can't tell by the Russian there, this is a big old package from shipped over from Smolensk. This is from a MRE Info member, Prado 67, or is it 76? I think it's 67. 67 or 76. Anyway, Prado, Alexei, great trader, great seller. I've been dealing with him on and off for about 5-6 years at least, maybe 7 years. I think somewhere. It's been a while. Anytime you're dealing with Russian post, there's that who the heck knows kind of period. He shipped it out a day or so after I bought it, and it went into the postal system. It moved into outgoing to leave the country, and nothing for just about 2 months, and then popped up in the middle of the country. It showed up in Kansas, and then made it from Kansas to here. So it didn't come in through the normal border points that I'm used to, at least. So packages from his neck of the woods usually would come through like New Jersey or something as their port of entry. But big heavy package. It was wrapped in another layer of plastic that I took off already. Let's see. I love this stuff. Big old Russian shipping bag. Just you put around your package so that it stands a little better chance of making it there, I guess. But I don't know if this one said camping supplies. Let's see. I know that's been less effective lately, but this was half for me, half for the museum. So got Kazakhstanian and Belarusian rations. So just going to take a quick gander at them. Let's see, we can actually pop one of these open, might as well, since it's just a cardboard box. So I'm gonna, and Nick probably too. We're gonna eat one. What I learned from past mistakes is when I get something with the intention of eating it, eat it, because I have all kinds of great stuff that's now just going to be display stuff in the collection. Which, hey, the museums benefit there, I guess, but for personal searching, I really did want to eat some of those things, and now I'm not eating, a Ukrainian ration from 7 years ago. I'm just not going to do it. But stuff that's new and in date. I just really wanted to get back into trying them, and I know with these, it's not going to be anything mind blowing or brand new that I haven't had, but they're really good. So I want to see if these are around the same. So this is Belarus. Well, I know we've all seen these before.
Stewed beef.
Yeah, stewed beef. This is going to be good. Oh, and now that we know what we're dealing with these kinds of things, you know, anything like this, I'm gonna, when I open one of these that's going to be for the museum, I'm gonna put a separate bag around these, you know, and we'll see how they hold up over time. These, as I put pressure on them, yeah, they move. They are like,
they're filled.
Yeah, go ahead and give them a squeeze.
Okay, yeah.
Like they're.
So these are filled.
So when you think, you know, I mean, well, they may or may not be
Maybe.
filled. I don't know if they're not. I would assume they're not. I would assume that what we're dealing with is the fact that a lot of hard candies, quote unquote, are technically in a state of flow or flux. They're liquid. That's just very slow liquid, like that makes molasses look like a jackrabbit. So these are great if you eat them right away or within date. But as we've saw, what was that, 2 weeks ago, with the Spanish special forces extra altitude and cold weather and etc. rations that may or may not be official rations that I still have to dig into a little bit. These hard candies will just gradually leave their package and spread throughout the box. And these empty little shells will sit wherever they were at the time that they started flowing. So, you know, we'll the one that stays, we'll put plastic around those for now. So we've got heart-shaped cookies. Okay. All right, we got some heart-shaped cookies there. We got
more heart-shaped cookies.
More heart-shaped cookies. Look to be. So this is a 24-hour ration. So I guess you get cookies with 2 meals. We got some pastille. I love bit by bit. Nick taught me that. But I went, oh, Nick, say hi. You know.
Hello.
All right. Sorry, I got like the top half of your head there.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, so
the rations look better anyway.
So yeah, so we've got the pork liver pate is what that is. That stuff's pretty darn good. I mean, it's essentially like viscous bologna, you know. This,
those mackerel?
I believe this is mackerel.
Yeah.
Or no, sardines. Sardines.
Oh, they are sardines?
These are sardines. So this is just a big old can of sardines. That's probably going to be pretty.
Yeah, it literally says sardines on it.
Oh. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I wonder what these are. One of the only pieces of English in this box, and I missed it. But that's interesting.
Is that a tax stamp?
There's a hologram on there. Maybe. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good call. I bet that is a tax stamp. There might be.
It's like a cigarette tax stamp.
There might be something specific for, you know, the amount of sardines or something that company can produce, or maybe there was a scare that some sardines were no good. We got some kasha, some
trashy,
some groats, and boiled boiled groats with usually some beef and grease and salt. Oh,
it's a great breakfast.
This one though, this one looks like it might come with some veggies. I'm not sure what the subtext is on this. Sardines straight from the can are fantastic, but you gotta widen your horizons there for them. I mean, even potted meat product by the Canned Meat Corporation. I mean, that's some good stuff. There's all kinds of good canned meat. I'm a big fan, but to each their own, of course. I love the little pig face on there. So then we've got the hardtack for this one is these pretty good looking biscuits. Honestly, smooth looking biscuits. I've never tried this particular type. Not sure if anybody out there watching tonight has, but these look pretty good. Then we've got cane sugar, and we've got black tea. You know how I knew it's black tea? It says black tea.
Oh.
But Russian tea is starting to grow on me. Well, Belarusian in this case, former Soviet bloc. We've got a chocolate bar that has reflowed a little. So there's been some heat in this case at some point. You know, that comes to a point there. But overall, you know, this looks perfect. There's nothing that looks even slightly off in any of this. You know, the chocolate's a pretty good indicator that, you know, it was just pressed into a corner for a while. It probably was warm at some point. But you know, this will be a fun one to try.
Can I see the sardine can for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Read it.
Put that back over there.
Point of origin English.
Just
wondering, maybe the company that put together this ration had to buy the sardines from another Russian-speaking company outside of Belarus, and that's like a custom thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's cool though. I like it. It really reminds me.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory. You know, a lot of these are just you know, assembled by the end packager, and you know, it's possible they got something that required some kind of import duty or stamp before getting to them to go into the ration. Especially in the Eastern European rations in general, a lot of them, you know, as a lot of folks in here might know, a lot of them are the same general components. You know, for a while there, not these would be more along the same as like the Ukrainian, the Russian, you know, the Kazakh, you know, that kind of stuff. They're all pretty the same. But then the Eastern European stuff, you know, the Romanian, to some degree, like the Polish, the Slovenian, the Estonian, they all, for a while there, we were calling them travel lunch. You know, the travel lunch rations or the travel lunch pack, but because it was, you know, they were all using the same, you know, the same off-the-shelf stuff mixed in with the freeze-dried travel lunch mains and that kind of stuff. And then, you know, to some degree, that's why a lot of these countries' rations are only, you know, recommended to be still, you know, still good in a year to 2 years, 3 years, that sort of thing, because a lot of them aren't anything special in terms of preserving the actual contents. For instance, like just as a for instance, you know, versus the bread products in American rations, you know, you're looking at this. This is in no way, you know, this is in no way a barrier. This is not stopping the degradation of this product at all. So if moisture gets in here, if anything gets in here, if you know, any heat, you know, there's nothing that little plastic layer is doing to stop. These cookies, there's nothing that this around here is doing. It's not, you know, well, no, I was going to say, it's probably not even airtight. And for a moment there, it resisted when I squeezed, but I didn't pop it. It just deflated with a little extra pressure. So I would say, you know, nothing in here is really taking into account long-term storage, except for potentially this. You know, this is a pretty good standard for longer term. These heavier metal bases and these layered metal plastic peel-off tops, they last pretty good long while, like 10 plus years usually.
They're not easy to get off. I mean, the adhesives on those are pretty strong.
Yeah, the adhesive. You know, Nick makes a good point. The adhesive on these things are, you know, pretty good. We opened some last week, the Russian ones, and they were, you know, there was a good battle to get them open. And then canned fish product, you know, you keep it at a good temperature. I eat a can of tuna in 45, 50 years probably, and it's almost certainly going to be fine. But don't. I got to be careful about saying that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Please do not ever take me talking about doing this as a recommendation that you eat old food. I don't recommend you eat old food. Any of my own personal choices in that area are just that. So there's absolutely risk involved, and the risk generally doesn't justify the attempt. But it's good to know for if let's see. Can I put these side by side? No. It's good to know for more extreme situations. Sometimes that something can potentially be safe for a lot longer than it seems at first. So you don't go without calories when you certainly could have consumed something. A lot of these dates are when food starts to taste poorly, or when it starts to take on the taste of the can itself, or that kind of thing. So, there's plenty of stuff that's not going to get harmful for a very long time. But then there's stuff that can be harmful right around the time it's expiring. Certainly don't roll the dice with dairy. And I know a lot of folks like to try the older army cheese. That's not me. Old Smoky always trying the cheese, and Steve always trying the cheese. Oh, I just when it smells like a shoebox from before you open before you even open the plastic, I don't know. Yeah. So the thing, Fordman, you're right. So if, for instance, a lot of our U.S. rations were exposed to, any number of things, fallout, chemical agents, etc. That's what I mean when I'm saying there's a barrier. The layers that go into. Let me put something neat to look at there, so it's not just my hand. But the layers in our packaging, where it's thin plastic, then metal, then plastic, then metal, then plastic. Then some of them are 6, 7 sets of that thick, and all with a layer of adhesive in between each. It's like plywood, but with with an actual barrier down to the microscopic layer in some regards. So for the most part, you'll be able to take a U.S. ration that's been sitting outside right after a nuclear blast and wipe off, clean off the outside of it and consume it. Consume the contents of the packaging. Now, that being said, if it was a nuclear event and you came in contact with a ration that had been outside, give it a once over with a Geiger counter, because there is metal in these, and metal loves to absorb radiation. So I would be careful there. But as far as like fallout, fallout is particulate. Generally, it's going to be the dirt, the concrete, the steel, the whatever it was that was at the core of the blast when a nuclear weapon goes off becomes atomized particulate. Everything that's there is vaporized into just its microscopic components, and those components are immediately extremely radioactive, and then they begin to just drift down with the wind currents, and they get all over everything. And that's when we say fallout, we're talking, the material that falls out of the clouds as it travels away from the epicenter of a blast. And it's most of what was there in the blast. So if you've got food, in cans and that sort of stuff, you can wash it off, and you can still consume everything that's inside. But that super thin plastic that's in the, a lot of the foreign rations, just the regular off the shelf plastic, no, I wouldn't trust that at all for exposure to chemical agents or anything like that. And as far as biological goes, I saw you did say NBC. I think you're right, but I would never in a million years wipe something off that was exposed to anthrax and give it a shot anyway. So just there are lines in the sand, and that one, I would wipe something off that had some fallout on it, but I wouldn't wipe something off. I wouldn't pick it up. I wouldn't, I would, I would bulldoze the area over if there was anything that had been exposed to sarin or anthrax or VX or anything like that. Let's see. Tried bully beef. What's bully beef? I don't think I know that reference. Sardines are not your favorite, huh? I'm a big fan. Sardines and mustard. I'm a big fan of those. Well, thanks for reaching out to her, Aletha. I'm gonna go ahead and open then, and I'll shoot her a message with the timestamp from tonight for where we went through it. Oh, this is just before we go on. I'm not gonna tear this open just yet. We'll figure out.
Are they both meal number one?
Well, this one's not labeled.
Yeah. But I don't know if this has anything to do with it. They're the same on the bottom, whatever this says. So.
I don't know what this part means.
There's 3 on.
Where do you see 3?
Well, there's 3 different meals.
Oh, or 3 different menu, 3 different bowl menus.
That's what I mean. There's 3 different menus. This one says 1, so I'm assuming the first one. And then this is the caloric breakdown in Russian. But this actually right here.
Or is it Russian in Kazakhstan? I mean, it looks like Russian.
Both. But this only actually accounts for menus number 1 and 2. There's no menu number 3.
Wait, where are we seeing? So
right here, number 1.
So there's 3 meals here.
Yeah.
So what I think we're seeing
is like a daily.
I think we're seeing breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Ah, okay.
Oh, so sorry on this one. I think we're seeing breakfast, lunch, dinner. Let me bring this closer.
Oh, okay.
And then in those, I think the slash is, so we see, let me get a little closer here even. So we're looking at this. Each of these columns, let me just, shade that a little. So each of these columns, we're looking at the food items, and each of them has a slash in the middle. So I think we're seeing menu 1 item slash menu 2 item, and then menu 1 calories slash menu 2 calories. So if that might be the way that this works.
I see what you're getting at here.
So depending on whether you have menu number 1. Oh wait, right here it even says number 1 something something menu number 1, and over here number 2.
Number 2 menu number 2.
But even then, I'm not certain.
Is that even calories, or is that like?
No, I think this is 2 dialects. Never mind. I take it back. I think we have the same stuff written 2 dialects. But if we look at this, so this item here is in menu 1. This next item here is in menu 2. Other than that, it's the same things in both, which makes sense. So for dinner here, we've got whatever this is, and this is in menu 1 and menu 2 dinner. And up top, we've got this first item in both. But then the main item, the main course, is all that's different between them.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. So the 250 gram or calorie, maybe, I'm not sure which is which, or what they're referring to with the R.
So chances are these are the same then. It's just this one got a sticker and that one didn't.
Chances are, but I'm not sure. You might have given me one of menu 1 and menu 2.
I wonder. I have to Google this later. But
well, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, if you wanted to be pretty frugal about your program, put a sticker on it if it's menu 1. If it doesn't have a sticker, it's menu 2. You know. So
okay.
So that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's a guess. That's just a guess. But
just wonder, does Kazakhstan use like kilojoules or something?
Corned beef, bully beef. Got it. I'm a big fan of corned beef. And canned corned beef, maybe not as much, but But corned beef, oh boy, corned beef and cabbage. There's few things like that. There are a few things better than that in my world. You know what?
Never had it.
We're gonna eat one of these eventually, so we're gonna open this Nick just casually just.
Oh no! I was afraid it was gonna stab this.
I know. He says he's afraid it was gonna get stabbed.
I didn't want the things that are wrapped delicately to get stabbed by
just
the
casually. All right, let's take a look.
I'm really sorry. That is not what I meant.
I'm gonna go from the back just so we can still potentially use this as a display. Let's see.
It's very delicate.
Yeah, super delicate. I'm just trying not to mangle it, but.
I really didn't mean to rush you. It's under this.
I'm just always going to give Nick a little bit of a hard time because I can't. All right, so this one's probably no good. All right. So this is in rough shape.
Think it'll smell bad if you open it?
Ooh.
I wonder what it is. It looks like those are like cookies or wafers in there because that's all like coffee and stuff.
That's sticky.
Milk.
I wonder, do you think there's any chance I just did this? I dropped one of these on the way down.
Wait. This has to be the dented one. There's no dent in this one.
Well, and this is what I thought dented, and it's not.
There's more cans.
Alright, so let's see. Trying to figure out what might have leaked, because we got... we got some stickiness throughout.
No, it's not. Which one? Wait. Ah, this is it. Feel right there. If you put your thumb there, you can feel the... Remember when you said, I hope I didn't just wreck that can? That's that can.
Yeah, do you think I did that? Yeah, quite possibly. This is all over and it's all sticky and it's not a recent... I think this might have maybe leaked in transit. I'm not sure. We probably want to open this soon.
Yeah, because it's all in like the crevices of the plastic.
Well, now I kind of want to open that one and check in that one. Certainly going to have to, I think. Just I can't store something for the next 5 years for the museum and have it turn out to be, wrecked. So if this is for the museum, do you have a pair of scissors in your desk?
Yeah, I do.
Right. I'm just going to get this started right by the seam. Let's see. No, they don't have a... Alright, got a little tiny hole there. Alright. So, first piece.
Looking good.
Second piece.
That one does have a little bump.
That's dented,
but not busted.
And it is a different menu, I believe, because we had a red can in the 2-can.
Well, isn't there one more in there? Yeah.
Oh,
yep, there's the red can.
All right. So,
I think that's borscht. The red can.
That might. Maybe. So borscht is a beet soup, right?
It's like a cold Russian vegetable soup, but it can be a lot of things. It could also be a fish soup.
Are you sure? I could have sworn borscht was beets. But gazpacho's the tomato one, right? Cold tomato soup.
I think so. I think there's
Goulash is another likely in these sorts of things. But well, let's see.
I think there's another red Russian soup called like tishunka or something like that.
Borscht is beet soup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Ukrainian beet soup. Main ingredient, beetroot.
Beet juice and beets.
Variations, green borscht and white borscht. So I don't know what those would be, but let's just real quick try to translate and see what.
See what it would look like.
Okay, it's borscht.
Yeah, is that what it says on there?
So.
Oh yeah, look at that.
60PW.
WY thingy.
Yeah, I mean, one of these days, I'm trying to learn the Russian alphabet bit by bit, and it's just so fascinating. But yeah, so that says borscht. Yeah, exactly. Sweetened condensed milk. Let's see, that might be. I don't think there's any of that in any of these.
Mm-hmm.
We've got these big pouches are going to be. So these long tubes are going to be cane sugar, almost certainly, or just white sugar. These big green pouches are going to be your hardtack, your biscuits, your
This is
bread
also
product.
sugar. I think Caxap is sugar. That's what it says on mine.
Yeah. We've got another tea, beta tea, for the perfect cup of tea. Add tea bag. Pour freshly boiled water and allowed to brew for 2 to 3 minutes.
It's funny.
Beta tea.
There's a silver one in here, but there's another one in black.
And then
like a black tea. I wonder.
So that does say black tea on that one.
I wonder if that one's any different. Like if that's not a black tea.
The silver tea. Maybe it's Earl Grey or something. It has a picture of a clock with 5 minutes. With 5 minutes on it. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's like an instant tea.
This is that's a tea bag.
Oh, really?
2 to 3 minutes. It says, pour over tea bag.
Gotcha.
But, so, looks like a pretty simple meal. We've got kasha. We've got...
Probably also pashket, maybe.
I don't know.
NKPO.
No, it doesn't say pate anywhere on here. So this could be any number of things. I'll have to translate. But it looks like, I would assume this is probably your breakfast. Though actually, it's kind of hard to tell. There's kasha with every meal. There's a little growtiness. Let's see. You can almost tell there's a little brown in there. They've each got a pack of wet wipes, it looks like. At least that's, I think those are alcohol wipes. And then, so one meal is just the kasha, the crackers, black tea, and 2 sugars.
No coffee?
The Russian rations don't tend to always have coffee.
I got a feeling this one might be breakfast.
So that would make sense. Tea, boiled groats, and
because that one's got obviously something like sugary.
Well, no, they're all kasha. Like it's all we've had this already, you and me. So in terms of
okay, yeah.
it's the boiled groats with beef, and it's greasy and salty, and it's wonderful.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
But that's breakfast. That's a normal breakfast with some tea.
Yeah.
And then we've got probably a potted meat. You know, it might be a fish pate of some kind. It might be canned fish. It might be, you know, canned vegetable pate of some kind. I'm not sure. But then some more kasha, some tea, some crackers, and then I'm assuming this bigger one could be lunch, could be dinner. Depends on the country if you eat a bigger lunch or if you eat a bigger dinner. I think in the Kazakh rations, the biggest one is your dinner, your end-of-day meal. And that one we've got probably some stewed beef, it looks like, and some borscht. So that's going to be a neat one. You know, some, and then the crackers, tea, sugar. So these are very utilitarian meals. I'm going to put this set back. This will be the one that the museum gets to keep. It's in better shape. And the other one will be the one that Nick and I lay waste to. Oh, well, this just split right open. Well, better than the other one.
Yeah.
So I'll put it back in there.
It's not a barrier.
It is not. It is not a barrier. This, well, I'll show you guys. Just handling it, the outer bag split right there. Just popped open. I mean, really no extra pressure applied or anything, but so this, you know, it's got a kind of earthy kind of smell to it. So hard to tell. Tell me what you think of that smell. Let's take another look at this one. So
I don't know. I don't know.
So this looks like what happened here.
It's sticky on the outside.
The can may have gotten punctured. Liquid's coming out of the can. Liquid's settling in the sugar and traveling from the sugar. Because this essentially throughout is caramelized. There's like little pockets of something caramelized in throughout. So this is pretty much potentially shot.
Candy gross now.
Because if there's a hole in the can coming from Kazakhstan in the mail for more than 2 months, I don't know that I'm going to eat the contents there. We'll see if we can clean off the crackers and eat them.
It's all over this too.
It's exited this and gotten there, so we're not going to put these back. We'll keep them separate, and next week I think I might try and eat those. Or eat what I can of them. Take some pictures. Excuse me.
I have a ration question.
Shoot.
I don't know if what I'm about to ask is ration collector sacrilege, but I'm just curious to know. So, is it sacrilege to reseal a ration? Because this is just like literally a heat shrink wand that you press. I
don't know. So I mean, like, you mean for...
Like, for museum purposes, if you wanted to have this as an actual meal. But I'm guessing you would display everything outside the bag.
And we could potentially, you know, still display it like this and put, you know, we could take the empties from what we eat, you know, the empty cans and pouches, put, say, like a brick of cardboard inside the crackers pouch, put those roughly back inside an outer bag so that you can see it translucent through the bag, like, you know, like this, as the display one, and, you know, behind all the contents of the actual one that we want to have on display out and set up. You know, I don't know. There's all kinds of ways to display these, I think. So
I just realized I have a heat shrink wand, and I was like, oh, that's literally just a heat shrink strip where it like cuts the.
That's good to know that you own one.
I do own one. Yes.
So, let's see. We will go to Kaylin's contribution. So, I haven't opened this yet. I did cut her address out, just so not trying to dox anybody. So we'll open this up. Let's see. All right. So this is the West German emergency pilot's ration from 1987. All right. So, and oh, the Japanese military script. Oh wow. Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Oh, I have some of that.
Let's see, Kalen says, enclosed are the two West German pilot emergency rations from 1987. The opened one has been taped shut to protect contents during shipping. I made one of the tea, but did not open the bars. I saw her video from a couple weeks ago, where she opened them up and didn't want to damage the bricks. You know, that's so nice of you. I really appreciate these. They're gonna be a great set, you know, a great addition to the museum collection, and a really interesting display. We have a lot of examples of emergency rations, but to get something from West Germany, you know, it's a country that only existed for, you know, for a couple decades, a period of time that was, you know, brought on by the end of World War II and the breakup of the former German military empire into the protectorate of the West and the protectorate of the East, as we essentially went our separate ways, you know, with Russia after the war, and slowly phased into the Cold War era. So, you know, the end of the Cold War saw the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany back into the country it is today. But West Germany was the the Allied side, so it was fairly, you know, fairly similar to, you know, the rest of Allied Europe and, you know, the States in terms of you know, laws and permissions and that sort of thing. And then there was East Germany, which had a completely different role and was a Soviet, you know, extension of the Soviet, you know, empire to some degree for all that time. And then we had Berlin in the middle of East Germany, and Berlin was the capital, you know, or not? Sorry, wait, I don't want to. Now my brain's not sure if it's Munich or Berlin, but I'm talking about the city Berlin was split into East and West Berlin. Because it was in the middle of East Germany, it was in the middle of, oh, now I'm messing everything up. Just gotta double check. Yeah, okay. So Berlin was in East Germany. So the western half of Berlin was walled off and separated from the eastern half of the city and the whole of East Germany around that. So it was a allied portion of the overall East German country. So I mean, it wasn't part. I mean, it wasn't West Germany wasn't part of. I mean, West Berlin wasn't part of East Germany. There was, you know, an allied airport there, and if you needed to leave to go anywhere else in the world, you flew out. You couldn't just casually go through East Germany. After I want to say it was the early 1960s that the wall went up. Maybe it was the early 1950s, but let's see. Yeah, 1961. So in 1961, it was almost overnight. All of a sudden, just checkpoints got barbed wire. Multiple layers of chain link fence went into all kinds of positions around the western, portion of Berlin, and before anybody knew it, it was a completely separated entity, and people attempted to flee the West Berlin from East Berlin for the rest of the separation until the reunification, and many people succeeded and got out through a number of schemes and plans and escapes, etc., and got into Allied territory and stayed out of the Soviet occupied Germany from then on. And then many people did not succeed in getting out and were killed in the attempt. So it was a very different era for Germany. And pieces like this, to make a long story short, are that much more important in the Ration Museum, because they remind us of that, that whole extra story, that whole extra chunk of history is necessary in just saying, well, here we have a pilot's emergency ration. Well, it's an emergency ration from a country that no longer exists, that has its own storied history that's very important to us all in the long run to remember. So, howdy, Chris. Welcome to the stream. So this is the sealed one from Kaylin, and this one right here is taped back up. This is the one that she opened up and showed on her stream and had the tea. So that's fantastic. We'll be able to open this one back up and show the bag and the tea. The tea pouch and everything, and show people what is inside these, and that's going to be so neat. And we've got a lot of other emergency rations, but I think this is going to be potentially one of my favorites in terms of the compressed food brick stuff. This is going to be a really neat one that I'm going to definitely love showing folks, and that we're very, very thankful to receive for the collection. So I'll make sure to send back just a donation receipt to just for your own records, to acknowledge that you gave this to the museum, and if anybody needs anything specific from me when you're doing something like this, just let me know, and I'll make sure we get something written up for you. Thanks again so much. Just gonna make sure I reach out and let her know that this is when we went through this one. But now this is so neat. All right, I'm gonna bring the camera down here. So at the end of World War II, the U.S. military occupied Japan following the war, and issued currency. That was to be used. This is 50 and 10 sen. I'm not sure what the equivalent between sen and yen, or if that was the interim. But these are in great shape. These are just really nice. And I have a few bits and pieces from World War II Japan in terms of ration containers, that sort of thing. And over time, would like to get a little more in terms of U.S. military pieces from the occupation, because there's just so much that was handed out. So this would be used in purchasing food on base, off base. I believe this was for U.S. soldiers only during this occupation. There would have been a different script produced for the civilians, but I will dig in and see what I can find out here. but these are just, they're just gorgeous, and you can see the U.S. influence on them. Just little details like those really intricate corners and the little spider web kind of patterns, going around the outside. I wonder what kind of little hidden stuff is in these bills, that the kind of things that they would use to say whether or not they were counterfeit. The color in this is just fantastic. This is the first time I've ever got to actually get my hands on these, and it's just issued pursuant to military proclamation. Just so neat. So as we produce display around or a collection, or part of the collection around the U.S. occupation of Japan post-war, these will certainly find their way into that. I can see, it's hard to tell. Maybe if I move it, yeah, you can see the light coming through. Oh, they were stapled there. That's what that was. Okay, there was a staple through there. That's all. For a second, I was thinking maybe there was some kind of cancellation or perforation, but no, that's just perfect distance across for being staple. So I am going to get some stiff cardboard to go around these, because these are perfect. These are in excellent shape, and I want to keep them that way. So I'm going to make sure we store them with something stiff around them, so there's no chance they're going to get bent. But I just thank you again so much. I wish she was watching right now, but definitely going to send her a link to this. So let's see. That all being said, what do we want to jump into next? So, let's see. It's already 6:30. I think for the rest of this stream, I'm just going to walk through, like I said early on, I'm going to walk through those Saturday evening post ads, and we'll take a look at a bunch of those. I'm going to wrap up around 7 tonight, and try and get one more night in the tent in before everybody expects the regular world to start back up again. Got a holiday weekend, right? So let's move this up again. And bring over some of these paper items. Now I heard a rumor just a day or two ago. I'm just thinking, because part of what I'm looking at here is things like some of the older papers and whatnot, military papers and things that I have, like the steering wheel. Oh wait, let me switch here. So this is one of a few pieces that was my grandmother gave to me for the collection that was her father's. He was a driver for transport. For cargo transport in World War I. So this is specific to that position in the military. This is the steering wheel, and it's the 1918 holiday edition of that magazine. I'm keeping it in, bagged up for the foreseeable future until we get really, really high quality scanning, so that I can do one good scan of all this and then properly, and then better preserve some of these. And this is also from World War One. This whole pouch, there's some stars and stripes in here, and on the top there's trench and camp from Camp Johnson. So, or Johnston, I mean, sorry, Camp Johnston. So these will be neat to get scanned in at some point. But what made me stop on those is I'd heard a rumor just the other day that there was a directive from the Pentagon that they're going to shut down Stars and Stripes permanently. They're taking the newspaper offline after more than 100 years. So I really hope that that's just some strange snap decision on the part of the current administration that gets walked back or gets some gets reconsidered, because that would be a shame. Even now, I still consider Stars and Stripes to be a pretty solid source of just generally, level news and information, along with Military Times and a couple others. So that'd be a big shame. Now, what I wanted to show you guys today was more along the lines of these. Let's see. Let me turn off this extra light just in case. Some of these are going to be plastic coated and are going to be easier to see. But they're large format, so it's going to be hard to really see the whole thing with enough detail. So, for instance, here's runways being made in the Pacific in World War II, saying now ready-made runways for our warbirds everywhere. And it's an ad for the Truscan Steel Company. Might be Truson. Anybody familiar with Tucson? And it's ridiculous spelling. It's Tucson. It's Tucson. Dang it. So, let's see. Here's just Gail. If you're still here, this is one of the ones I was talking about. One of these kinds of ads that references the ration coupons. And actually, let's see. That doesn't show any of the books in the ad itself, but it does say, you get just so many coupons, no more, so you make the most of them, and here's how. No matter what kind of food you buy, Bird's Eye Fruits and Vegetables gives you more for your coupons. More flavor, nutrition, freshness, convenience, and uniform quality in a wartime economy. So, just to go in with everything, with the books. So they're tops in vitamins and minerals, and it's just, I love these ads. So over the years, I've picked up a lot of these. Back in the day, 20 years ago, a lot of times I could find these for $2 or $3, $4, something like that. So not so much anymore. I think people know. I think they've kind of found their niche, and people know that there's a bit more value to them, and I'm glad. That means people are taking care of them. People see a reason to preserve things like this. So I don't always get angry when when something that the museum needs or collects gets expensive. It's just a sign that there's a lot of people out there that all of a sudden see the value in keeping some of this stuff around. So it means it's going to go up, in cost. Rushing the rations. And this one's an ad for the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. But just these are just great, And you can see, in the back, the crates and crates and crates of, rations being loaded up. The trains themselves saying, Pennsylvania Railroad, buy war bonds, like they did. Like they actually had printed on trains all over the country at the time. Oh, here's another how to make the most of your ration coupons kind of ad from Bird's Eye. Down here we have concerning ration coupons. Love this stuff. You're a railroad historian, Chris. Well, I'm sure there's more than just that amongst the collection for you. I'll see what we can spot. Let's see. There's some bigger sets here. All right. Let's see. And then, on the other side of a lot of these pages, there's other ads or there's stories from Saturday Evening Post is where most of these came from. But Philadelphia blended whiskey, just little ads like that. But the reason I got this was this one. How good to know that our boys chasing Adolf Superman are armed with Victory Vitamin C. I just love these. So, canned Florida grapefruit juice, rich in vitamin C. Victory Vitamin C. Those courageous hearts across the sea, where African sands and American grit have clogged the wheels and grinding gears of the murderous Nazi machine, those heroic hearts have proved they can beat back the very best that a fiendish foe has to offer. God, I love these. Just, it's an ad for grapefruit juice, but they make it into an adventure because, they needed to. And it's also an ad for you not having grapefruit juice is kind of what it is. It's an ad to remind you after the war ration effort was over and after everything goes back to normal that there is grapefruit juice out there, and hopefully you remember it because you didn't have any because soldiers had it. But here's the ad to remind you that it's there so that when you get there, you're like, oh, yeah, I got to get that Florida grapefruit juice company some money because or some business because they took care of our boys in the war. So, they're just so good. Talks about, what happens after the war, and then, it's just an ad for Western Electric, but they're essentially saying like, hey, we made trench phones for now, but don't forget us when you come back. We'll make the phone in your house too if you let us. Because bomber crews must have Victory Vitamin C, maybe your canned Florida grapefruit juice is flying over Nazi rooftops tonight. Just it's just I love these. And it's got the bombers and that's the truth of it. It's like, well, why don't why am I drinking water every day? Well, because yours is over there. Between dogfights, he guzzled grapefruit juice. So I put all these together, these Florida grapefruit juice ones. So don't feel too bad about missing yours this morning.
The guy chugging from a can.
Just slamming his can of grapefruit juice. That's why these were in their own little pouch. They're the grapefruit juice ones.
I like that there's an ad for Philadelphia blended whiskey on the back.
Let's see what's, we looked at the whiskey one. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Schlitz. Get me a couple Schlitzes. We've got Marion Chadwick. Okay. I don't know who that
was. It's actually another grapefruit juice ad.
Oh, wow. Okay, I must have had this upside down. So this ad for Western Electric wasn't even why I had this piece of paper. This is a great ad. That's going to be a hard one to decide what's what, but okay, I won't put a funny voice on this one. This is an artifact of history. That's what it is, but I won't read this one in a funny voice. Just ask an enemy soldier, essentially. That's what that says. What it feels like to be up against men who are fortified with Victory Vitamin C. And then got a canned Florida grapefruit juice. rich in victory vitamin C. So that's the reverse on that one. And then we're back to
which is great.
the true original idea of gentleman's club. Not, I'm sure if somebody from 1930 came into the modern era and saw signs for gentlemen's club, they'd, we're right at home. Let's see if we can get a good cognac and see what the best shotgun is this season. Well, they'll be in for a bit of a surprise when they go inside.
I think it's great because the Military Ration Museum is in Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia whiskey.
Yeah, that's a fun coincidence right there.
Now, where's the ad for Blue Coat Gin?
Well, we saw Schlitz. Oh, here's a bunch of these. Not quite PC. Whoa. All right. But this part's all right. There were some pictures in there. We'll just gloss over. All right. I wonder what's cooking at home. So, I was just talking to my grandfather yesterday, and this brand came up. This is Crosley. They made all manner of things, but among them they made radios and record players. So let's see. Peacetime manufacturer of radios, refrigerators, household appliances, and the Crosley car, which everybody had a car in the 30s.
They made a car.
And then in the 40s, nobody made a car for a few years, and then after that, the choices really narrowed down. Not as many companies came back to producing vehicles as they did pre-war. So that was kind of a change, a big change in the times. In the 1930s, there were like 150 something auto manufacturers in the U.S. There were a lot of things, but the Crosley manufacturing company that also made radios and home refrigerators and everything else, they made a car. That was among everybody. Getting the most nutrition out of fruits and vegetables. Oh wait, let's see. Is that? Nope. Okay, I'm like, yeah, that's tangentially related. No, that's not what we're there for. The sergeant who carries soup for 600 soldiers. So, just bricks of dehydrated soup made by the DuPont Cellophane Corporation, or packaged by the DuPont Cellophane Corporation at the time. I've never come across one of these. I wonder, I wonder if they actually look just like that. But let's see. Here's another.
DuPont's also a Philly company.
There's a lot of history in Philadelphia. I think it's a really apt place for this museum to end up. There was a little while there where, if I hadn't moved back here for work, I was thinking that eventually the museum would end up in Las Vegas or something. And it's still in the back of my mind, not outside the realm of possibility for a branch or for, some future bigger version of us. But I think Philly's going to be our home for a while. The Sealright Company, the Sealright Sanitary Service Company. All right, but looks like paper containers. So they made military ice cream containers here. Per man, the members of the toughest trained army in the United States history eat 50% more ice cream than the average civilian.
Does that say He-Man food for the fighter?
Yeah.
He-Man food for the fighter.
But it's not referencing He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
He-Man was just a general term for a long time. fire insurance, but you know, a bunch of boys in a chow line, that's going in the collection. Oh, this not a ration one right here, but the other side is. But this is still a great picture. Let's see. Buy war bonds. This one's from the American Meat Institute in Chicago. Just a reminder, that the war effort was on and meat was getting prioritized for rations and going overseas because people needed that reminder of what they were fighting for. I'm sure gruel would have worked just fine, but meat's a little better for folks overseas. In terms of just getting something from home. Meat ashore. So we hear, we read about it, etc. That 5-in-1 rations and a lot of other rations from the era were they were dipped in wax and they were meant to be, or they were waterproof. They had a paraffin coating in the cardboard, but they in a lot of cases they couldn't make landfall, and the way they'd get the rations to the beach in the Pacific was, in a lot of cases, the supply ships would wait till the tide was coming in to the islands, and they would dump everything and then move on, and it's going to wash ashore. So the 5-in-1s were certainly built for that, and it was expected part of delivery. It's why they called it the Aqua Pack. So that's just a whole neat extra. Hey JW, welcome. Good to see you. We went through. We did some mail call. We walked through some stuff that I'd picked up for the museum, and then and for myself, and then we walked through some donations to the museum from Kaylin and from Gail. Ration coupon books and mileage coupons, and the two 1987 West German rations. So welcome to the stream. Right now we're going through Saturday Evening Post wartime ads for just a few more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. I don't think we're going to get through anywhere near all of these today, but that's always, we can come back to these and look through a few more another time, because these are always a lot of fun. And eventually I'd like to have a huge room full of these things all framed up, and have the right kind of lighting so that it doesn't damage them, and the right kind of glass and all that kind of stuff that the current the current archival specialist with the museum, who may or may not still want to work with the museum. I know now that I'm out in Philadelphia, he's in Montana. It's a little less convenient to to be able to help us out. But Kim Scott had been helping with a lot of this stuff, and he taught me quite a bit about the way you can properly display things like this without doing further damage to them. And it's neat. There's there's quite a bit that's been made that's not just common household stuff anymore, in terms of like special paper to mount these on, special glass to put them under that'll keep a good portion of the harmful part of the spectrum of light away from the surface of the paper, and you can barely tell that there's anything going on in terms of the glass. And then you don't want the paper that you back these with to eat through to them, or the adhesive that's used, or anything like that, to cause damage to them. But anyway, what will your soldier eat today? Let's see. So this has got a little chow hall menu there. June 16th, 1943. Oh. This was the Barrett division of Allied Chemical and Dye Corporation. So they made nitrogen, building materials, coal tar, chemicals, wood preservatives like creosote, paving materials, and protective coatings. Let's see. I wonder. The successful feeding of this country's fighting men is one of the greatest achievements of America's superb military machine, a problem in housekeeping that calls for the procurement, storage, and distribution of literally billions of pounds of perishable foods in the course of a year. And helping to make this possible is a common everyday chemical, anhydrous ammonia, for which Barrett is a key source of supply. One of the best and cheapest refrigerants. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, a lot of refrigerators, to this day, are ammonia is the coolant. So when you compress ammonia and then re-expand it, it's fantastic refrigerant. So that makes sense. So this was a chemical company that produced the refrigerants necessary to do bulk storage and transport. And they're just reminding you, they're reminding everybody that that's their contribution to the war effort. Chris, I'm really glad to see you're liking all this. Welcome, by the way. I don't think I've seen you before, so I really like that you're enjoying. Let's see. Well, that's neat. So, Russians were absolutely our allies in World War II. So, there's more than there's quite a few of these kinds of ads. So these are Russian soldiers eating American rations. A cartoon of them eating American rations during the war, and then underneath, it's свинья тушенка, made in the USA. But I don't know. Beefsteaks. So the Russian army wanted 1 million pounds of свинья тушенка. Ingredients: not beefsteaks. Pork, lard, suet, pepper, and onion, with a bay leaf in each can. So, okay. So the General American Transportation Corporation of Chicago has something to do with this. Let's see. Though the Packers had never heard of CT before, American industry came through as always and on time. By beefsteak streamlined, by boning, dehydrating, and compressing, saving 9/10 of former shipping space. Concentrated meat developed for the Army's K ration. Every American soldier given an average of 1 pound of meat per day. America's families adequately supplied. I don't know what all these little blurbs, that doesn't read super well, but the General American Transportation has furnished stock cars, refrigerator cars, and tank cars for the meat industry. Got it. Okay, so that's their connection. A working teammate of this vital industry, General American Transportation, helped speed America's quality meats to dinner tables and mess tables around the world. That's just, I love all these. Let's see what's on. The Dole Valve Corporation. Here's another Crosley ad. This one's for the refrigerators. Let's see, twice as much food to the front. And we got 5-in-1s or 10-in-1s being unloaded. So, just another ad for Crosley Refrigeration at the time. Got stuck there. Oh, let go. Let's see. This is a Purina. This is for airdropped rations. The American farmer knows to pass the ammunition. So there was a really popular song at the time, Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. It's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free. Great song. So I'm sure that's what that's referencing right there. It's it's a different era. So we have just a on the farm kind of ad. See, their precious cargo has arrived. Food, or war's mightiest weapon, food. Ammunition produced back home by American farmers. So right here, so Purina took to referring to food as the most important ammunition being delivered to the front, which, I just like that perspective on it. As a ration collector and historian, that's just a really neat perspective on it. That it's ammunition, of a different caliber. Ever try eating on a PT boat? Why wartime and public health needs for paper cups and containers must come first. Paper cups and containers are part of the standard equipment of PT boats. You see, paper utensils don't need washing and won't smash when the boats buck, won't shatter in action. So, okay. See, in PT boats, bombers and battleships, and troop trains, the Army and Navy are using paper cups and containers by the millions. But paper is also playing a vital part in protecting the public health in soda fountains, lunchrooms, school cafeterias, offices, war plants, wherever people eat and drink in public. So far, the cup and container industry is meeting every demand. But if the time ever comes when demand exceeds plant capacity, you'll naturally be glad to give up purely convenience uses at home for essential uses such as those shown below. Then it gets down to, let's see. Odd bundles for Britain. Paper cups and containers by the millions went to London during the bombing. More are being sent now so that if the Luftwaffe should ever come back, London will be ready to give people food and drink where there are no dishes, no washing equipment, no hot water, and no sanitary services or facilities for serving food. Let's see. Impossible without paper cups and containers. In plant after plant, extra planes, tanks, and guns are being built with the help of paper utensils. A restaurant on wheels comes right to the worker, serves them a nutritious hot meal in paper cups and containers, thereby saving expensive sterilizing equipment, metals, and thousands of extra man hours. As important as a war plant is the place where civilians eat, for here is where colds and other communicable diseases can be spread fast. In the last war, the flu killed more than 10 times as many Americans as the enemy. And transmission through eating and drinking utensils was reported by authorities as one of the causes for the spread of the disease. So you'll agree that it is only right that the Army, Navy, and war industries and public eating places have their priority on paper cups and containers. So this is an interesting crossover ad for what we're all going through today. Just so this was in World War II. Just a reminder back that in World War One, a huge amount of the disease spread was through the reuse of things that were hard to keep clean. So this is just a push for using disposable stuff in that sense for for sensible reasons at the time, especially when people's health was more important than ever. because you couldn't have, the people that were remaining at home, you couldn't have them falling sick. They needed to keep producing. Everything had to keep moving. Chocolate is a fighting food for the home guard too. This is Nestle's cocoa. We're doing our best to distribute the fairly limited supply of Nestle's chocolate and ever-ready cocoa. It's just, yeah, these ads are a time machine. They really are. And, I want to get them all digitized and shared. Maybe we can, even take some of these if they're public domain and, reproduce them. Is something that I was thinking about for, potentially just something the museum could do and have as some way to earn a few dollars with a product that people might actually, find more wide appeal than, certainly it doesn't really make sense for the museum to say buy rations and then sell rations, because we're not a ration manufacturer, and there's almost certainly going to be no margin there, and there's food safety and storage and all that. But maybe something like taking some of these and making reproductions if we have the legal right to do so, or if we can find out if some of these companies will allow us to, that sort of thing. But that'd be really neat, and we can take these originals and make high quality copies. That's been in the idea pile for a little while. Boy, I'm strong for Milky Ways. That's just neat. And just a little box of white paper wrapper Milky Ways. A Mars Corporation, or Mars Confection. Sorry. Howdy, Katie. Welcome to the stream. Just about to wrap up. I got probably another 30 of these, so I think we're gonna stop after this next one. This isn't the ad we're gonna look at, but this is just on the back. A hit with men, you bet, says Kate Smith. Everybody loves Jell-O and Jell-O pudding. All right, but the ad was. Dear Mom, the boys will make you an honorary general if you just send us more Toll House cookies. Anyone who paused there for that 1940s Toll House recipe, this is December 1942. So this is a date which will live in infamy. But fudge, semi-sweet chocolate. If you want to make your soldier boy happy, send him the soldier's best liked gift: delicious, crunchy, golden brown Toll House cookies. They held up in the mail for months and months. It was a good, it was a great day. If you got some cookies in your in your mail call when you finally got somewhere where you got caught up on the mail, depending on your campaign. Maybe it was a little more reliable in some areas than it was in others. But let's see. I think we're gonna wrap up there for the week. I'm gonna be reaching out. So over the last few months, I've been moving. I have another stream for arcade repair and stuff that used to was taking up a good chunk of my time, that I've paused for the last almost 2 months, just while moving and all that. And as this is finally coming to a close and I'm getting a lot of my time back, I'm hopefully going to be able to get beyond. So as you can tell from the streams, it's been a lot of just moving in here and getting stuff set up and getting things kind of sorted and having a better idea of what we have. But over the next few weeks and months, I'll start having some more time, and hopefully I can start putting together what we need administration-wise and some of the piece-by-piece goals. And then I'm going to be reaching out to those of you that have already volunteered time and skills and everything with some tentative times for our first overall team meetings, and we're gonna keep them sparse, for sure. I don't want to have meetings for the sake of having meetings. I want to have meetings to introduce ourselves to each other and to start saying, what can we actually work on week to week as a group, so that it's not just, me putting in a few hours on a Sunday and then a week passes and then I put in a few more hours on a Sunday and then a week passes and, I'll be working here and there where I can, but I'd like to get everybody that's trying to volunteer some goals set up so that they can jump in and start helping, because we've got a need for website work and social media work, and we've got a need for getting the fundraiser going and getting eyes on that so that we can start getting things up and running, and really start cataloging everything the right way. So we'll need some new equipment, in order to properly scan and photograph all the paper stuff. And I'd really like to see what we can do in terms of, being ultra modern in our web presence. Since, in this day and age, it's going to be more and more important that you have a virtual exhibit, virtual museum, that brings as much information as it can to to your public, to the people that want to, that want to be informed, or that want to, just contribute or whatever, So piece by piece, we're going to get there, and I appreciate everybody that's sticking with us through this whole growing phase as we get there. So we'll come back next week for another step back in time. We'll probably look at some more of these some of these ads, and we'll. I think I was going to maybe walk through the accessory packet collection and put a little context around some of the versions of the U.S. accessory packet that we've had in one way, shape, or form for about 75 to 85 years now. So tune in next week, Sunday at 5, and everybody have a great Labor Day, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks so much for coming out.